of the old and new governor's office. We have also procured 30 number Toyota Yaris vehicles as official vehicles for 28 permanent secretaries and 2 auditor generals of the Ekiti State Civil Service. We have also resuscitated a lift in the old governor's office building. We have distributed some of the office equipment procured, including photocopiers, desktop computers, stabilizers, to selected ministries, departments, and agencies. We have procured hand slashers for maintaining the Secretariat complex. We have also procured some electrical tools, like the 3 ladder units for the electrical engineers. We are constantly maintaining the new and old governor's offices as required. Some of the ongoing activities is procurement and distribution of office equipment, procurement of security vehicles, and additional upgrade and renovation of the old and new governor's office, as well as the Lady Jibowu Hall. Well, our major constraints has been in the replacement of the UPS in the lift at Aduniola Inka Women Development Center. I believe that we are overcoming that now because we had an engineer coming recently to reassess that. We also have in the pipeline the perimeter fencing of the State Secretariat complex to enhance security around the Secretariat complex. We have also put forward the need to engage additional security personnel, particularly for the Secretariat complex, as well as improve on the landscaping. Just last week, some landscaping activities were approved for the State Secretariat. And also we have outstanding work to do at the liaison office in Akure, particularly as it pertains to provision of electricity. In conclusion, the General Administration Department is considered a very important department where all issues are speedily attended to. It may have challenges, but I'm sure the department is capable of addressing whatever problems comes to her. Thank you very much, sirs and ma'ams, for listening.
Thank you very much, Madam HOS. May I call on any member that has an observation or comment? Yes, Honorable Femi Akindele. Then I'll call Honorable Femi Fatula thereafter. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Femi Akindele. I represent the Airport Federal Constituency 1. Right Honorable Speaker, ordinarily I wouldn't have asked this question, but for the constraints as listed by GAD on page 6 under 9.0, that's 9.05, Roman 5, referring to the liaison office in Akure. I just want the SSG to tell us, the HOS, I want the HOS to tell us the condition of the liaison office in Wuse, in Abuja. But the last time I visited that place, the roof was already falling. That place it does not represent Ekiti well. So I want, because if she's listing Akure, why not that of Abuja? Thank you.
Okay, that's Honorable Femi Akindele. Yes, Honorable Femi Fatunla.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Honorable Femi Fatula. I represent the good people of the Ikole Constituency 1. I just want to ask from the HOS. On page 2, you said something about issuance of the certificate of origin to indigenous of Ekiti in the FCT. I just want to ask, how effective are you monitoring this exercise? Because we have been seeing a lot of things happening in Abuja, where you see an able guy with Ekiti certificate of origin. I don't know how that one usually happens.
And how much have they generated from the exercise? I think that is important.
I just want to tell you that. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable, please, HOS, I think it is better to just take all the questions. And however, it is said, unfortunately enough, the HOS, she's a medical expert, that when you are over 40, you should also not sit too long. So, and it's on that note, we will do a stand down of 3 minutes so that we can shake our body, walk around, and we'll come back. Please, thank you. Let's do that, a stand down. Thank you. And HOS can sit down, or she can also walk around. Thank you.
Yes, HOS, man. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I want to just, I just want to point out two issues here. On your last page, particularly that of maintenance of government building, I can see the level of assessment of your budget is very low.
Can you please speak to the...
Yes, the level of assessment of your own budget is very low in terms of percentage. And I see important sub-ed to which you ought to have assessed and to have carried out major works, particularly in the area of maintenance of government offices. If you take an inspection tour of the government secretariat, it's nothing to write home about. The condition of the building, some of them are looking good externally, but when you enter from offices to offices, it's an eyesore. So I have now seen, I've been able to trace the problem to, is it lack of release or lack of assessment of the budget meant to have been used for, the renovation or maintenance of those structures. So I want you to speak on that so that if the House knows the exact problem, the House can give a helping hand. That is one. Second is the issue of that's Petroleum Products Consumer Protection, is it board or committee? Agency, which is one of the major functions or responsibility of General Administration Department, to which Mr. Governor has appointed a chairman and a secretary. I want to say,
What is happening at the media? The mic is not working. I think it's working now. Can go on.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I was on this issue of Petroleum Products Consumer Protection Agency, to which Mr. Governor has appointed a chairman and a secretary. I want to say categorically that I am not sure that this agency is functioning.
And Honorable Johnson, do you know what we are going to do on that? This House will also invite or summon the chairman to come before this House. It should not just the head of service speaking. Since we have a political head, let him come. Whatever, if the head of service still want to address us on it, no problem. But look for a date and bring him on board. The chairman of that agency.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. And I think Mr. Speaker has said what is most important. Because if you go around Ado-Ekiti and other towns in Ekiti State, the level of exploitation by the petroleum dealers is unexplainable. Unexplainable. Sometimes when you buy 4 liters into a gallon of 4 liters, you will realize it is 3 liters. Some are even worse than that. And the pricing is another serious issue. In the same city, if you have 3 petrol station lining just side by side, one will be selling 120, the other will be selling 110.
Another will be selling 940 or 950. So I think this agency is to help we are only highlighting the issue. So when the chairman
Honorable
so just
Johnson,
for the HOS to have
I think we have said the chairman of PPR should come.
right,
Maybe we
that's
just
okay,
wait for that time.
Yeah, that's
But on
okay.
the issue you have raised, if it is truly they have removed subsidy, the prices of petroleum cannot be the same again.
But the liters should be regular. The liter, if you are buying 4
We are
liters,
not.
you should get
We are
4
not.
liters.
We are not exchanging words on this.
Yes.
I am just calling your attention that if truly subsidy has been removed in an advanced country, you will know that that is what is obtainable. You are entering a gas station here. The next gas station, you will see that the prices are different. You can't control that one. If it is because subsidy is in place, that is why prices of petroleum products are the same everywhere. But if it is not, it cannot be the same if there is no subsidy, if subsidy has been removed. But we will not speak for him. Let him come so that don't let us leave this one. But if the others want to speak on it, but you can, your gunpowder, let it be dry till it comes around.
Right,
And
you,
spare the HOS from this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Yes, Right Honorable Akim Jamiu.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I welcome the HOS. I just have some few observations which may be of assistance to her when she's coming to executive session. In the first place, I noticed that there are no detailed reports of capital projects, no detail of revenue, no cost details of all the listed achievements, and the document was not signed by the HOS. These are my observations.
Thank you, Right Honorable Akim Jamiu. Without defending the HOS, I think the PS and Director of Finance ought to have made this detail. You know the HOS is busy with so many things, and you ought to have prepared. You know, sometimes, who knows? Maybe the HOS even saw this document while coming to this place. And I know her, I can speak for her. I know her to be a very meticulous person. But the office is now wide, big. She might not be able to attend to all use. Please ensure that everything needed, like it has been said. Now, well, it's even good to see this beautiful face again, at least at the executive session. Because of that now, she will have to come back and with you to provide all the details as mentioned. Yes, Honorable Tokwenonge. Honorable Lokuchoke, I'm going to take you. Yeah.
Right, Honorable Speaker, fellow parliamentarians, my name is Lunge Temitokwe Ademola, and I represent the good people of Oyo Constituency 1, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, let me welcome the brand new head of service of the state, Dr. Folake Olomojobi. You are welcome. Mr. Speaker, for emphasis' sake, I am the chairman House Committee on Trade and Investment, and it's on record that we have invited petroleum marketers in Ekiti State here in our committee a couple of times, having discovered that they are into all manners of sharp practices. And I've also spoken to Mr. Arinka about it. But I think, in line with what my honorable colleague have said, a couple of times, even members of this House of Assembly have been, we have experienced some of the sharp practices, especially the use of their POS. The same POS that is used at Now Supermarket, that is used at Sensitive Supermarket, especially Money Point, is what they also use at the filling stations. Yet they charge you all manner of obnoxious taxes from 100 naira to 200 naira to 300 to 500 naira. I think we should, just like Mr. Speaker have said, we should call Mr. Arinka. He should not only back, he should bite. That's number one. Number two, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tokwe, there is something you didn't mention.
Okay.
When you are referring to the POS, These are the complaints that you have received for our
From members
from
of the public.
constituents, Ekiti people.
Yes, sir.
Not just, it's not you, but complaints from them.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it's important you address that.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the complaints we have received, among others, from members of the public and our constituents. So I think we should call Mr. Arinka to come and speak to this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Number two, if you turn with me to page 5, head of service. Page 5, item 6.2, mandate of the liaison office in Lagos. Let me just say, mandate of the liaison offices in where we have in Lagos and Abuja. Now, 6.2 sub 2. Part of the mandate of the liaison office in Lagos is the general welfare of Mr. Governor and other high-ranking members of the state socio-political bureaucratic establishment within the Lagos metropolis, and I believe by extension, Abuja. 3, airport protocols for government officials and visiting guests of the state government. Madam HOS, these are very good courtesies that is being extended to top government officials. Now, can the members of our House of Assembly enjoy these courtesies whenever we travel to Lagos and Abuja? Thank you, Madam HOS.
Be direct like that. I think the question is, who are these high-ranking members of the state socio-political bureaucracies? That is the question, not can the member. Who are these high-ranking? That is the question. So the question is not can members of this house. That's not the question. So the question is rephrased. Who are the high-ranking? So that the house will know, because we need to know everything. So this protocol, who are the people, the beneficiaries, so and the work high-ranking members. So who are these high-ranking members? Thank you. Yes, Honorable Dele Ogushaki, then I come to you, Honorable Farekun.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am Oladele Ogunshakin. I represent the good people of Ekiti East Constituency 1. The head of service, congratulations once again. I just have a few questions for you.
Maybe I should join my members to congratulate you also, once again. They say you are brand new. So I also say you are brand new because this is your first official appearance in this house. So that means she is brand new. The tier landlord head of service. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, just following up with the new policy of work at home, which the governor recently approved. I want to ask you, what strategy do you have in place to educate the public servants so that they don't take this as sit at home? And considering that a large number of them are not computer literate, how is it possible for you to educate, enlighten them, and work? And my second question is, during one of the visits to Civil Service Commission, the place is an eyesore. It's not even a place that will call an office. It's not a conducive place at all. And this place is the windows of the public service in Ekiti State. I know you are still new as the head of service, but I would like to pay a visit to that place, because even the last time during the promotion exercise that was taking place, a lot of staff, lawyers, people of dignity were outside, inside the sun. And these are the people we look on to govern the affairs of the government. They are left in a very, very bad conducive environment. If one of the offices that we inspected, you will find out that more than 5 people are attached to a cubicle, like that cannot even take a goat, not to talk of human being. I want you to make use of your office to look critically into this during your time. Thank you very much.
Yes, I agree with you that she's new as head of service, but she's also not new again because she has inherited both asset and liability. So everything she has inherited. Honorable Abiodun Babatunde Farekun.
Thank you.
I will take one more after this.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, I am Babatunde Abiodun Farekun. I represent Idosi Constituency 1. The HOS, I want to call your attention to page 5, 7.0, major achievement of the General Administrative Department.
Where is that?
Page 5,
Okay.
item 7.0.
Yeah.
From Roman figure 1 to 9. HOS, it's stated here the achievements of this department, but at what cost? Because this is an event of rendering account of stewardship. It has to be in details, and you only stated this as if this is just, to me, a storytelling. There has to be figures put to what we have achieved, as in the department procure 74 laptop computers at no cost. Is it a gift for from someone to the government, or the department is gifting it to the state government? There is a procurement of 30 Yaris official vehicle. At what cost? So all this needs to be here, and I think you should make this available at the executive section.
Yes, thank you. I think that also goes down to what the observation of Right Honorable Akim Jamiu, particularly in relation to the details that this House of Assembly actually require. And I know that the PS and the Director of Finance are also listening, so that please, you work on that immediately, get all the details. It is not just to come and tell us we bought 30 Yaris, or we have procured furniture, or 76 laptops. Yes, for this section, but for the executive session, we will need details of every procurement, everything. We will need details. So, Honorable Odebumi Idowu.
Thank you. Capacity, right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished Honorable colleagues, I still remain my humble self, Honorable Comrade Idowu Odebumi, representing the good people of Oye Constituency 2. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, kindly turn to page 2 of this document, item 5, I think. Item 8, under mandate of the General Administration. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, let me just read it also. Processing of regular requests for the issuance of note verbal from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for official travels, the Ministry of Internal Affairs for passport issuance.
That's 13, not...
Okay, 13, sorry. 13. Issuance and arrangement of visa for foreign embassies. The Honorable Head of Service, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So it's also Honorable Head of Service.
I'm just respecting our office and serve its various capacity to attain this position. Let me join millions of seen and unseen forces to congratulate you upon your appointment as the head of service. The head of service, ma'am, the House of Assembly, many times we might be having various of trips, seminar, and interparliamentarian.
Honorable Odebumi, don't worry. Thank you. Thank you. That can be discussed. HOS, you have all the questions, and I know that under 5 minutes you can wrap up. You can just provide an answer. And I know those ones that will handle at the executive session, you can just leave those ones, except you have one cogent reason why you should talk on it. Thank you. Please, you can quickly answer the questions. Thank you.
Right, Honorable Speaker, let me again appreciate this very engaging House. It stands to be one of the most brilliant House of Assembly I'm sure Egede State is having. I also take responsibility for some of the lapses of a fact. It is very true that details of the financial transactions should have been in this document. I'm sure my PAMSEC is listening. So that will be redressed immediately. So I'll take the question for the Abuja Liaison Office. At the moment, it's undergoing minor repairs, but the papers are being compiled for a major repair. We recognize that it's in a bad shape, and that has received the attention of government. So I'm sure before our next major session, we'll be able to report that the liaison office has been repaired. We also had a question on issuance of certificate of origin from our Abuja office. I have with me here that they have generated about 1.6 million from the beginning of this year. In Abuja, it's 4,000 per copy. In Lagos, it's 2,500 per copy. While no system is foolproof, the process is such that an applicant must submit a certificate from the local government of origin, which should have been endorsed by the traditional leader. And you know, we have this signature of all such leaders, just like the signature of the SSG and the HOS are known to embassies. So if anybody is going to forge those signatures, we should know. As our liaison offices, we know the signatures of the KBACs. We can only continue to foolproof and check to be sure it's not abused, but that's the process. So on the, yes, I think I've mentioned there was a question on non-use of the budgets on maintenance of offices. It is true you have about just 68 million access today, but before the end of the year, I'm sure that budget will be thoroughly exhausted. Just a couple of days back, we had the award for the landscaping around the Ministry of Budgets and Performance Management, and that will go up almost half of that budget. So I think the preparation by the special project towards the final consummation of the award might have delayed that. There are also a few repairs in the pipeline. The Civil Service Commission that was mentioned was one of my first point of contacts as an assumed office. I've been to almost all the buildings at the Secretariat complex. The Agri complex as well. We are looking forward to revamping that building. So I'm sure that before the end of the year, we will exhaust that budget and ask for more in 2025. I want to thank Mr. Speaker, and I honestly agree that we should have Mr. Rika come back with me on the issue of the petroleum standardization of quality and quantity. I'm also a consumer and a stakeholder, so we're all feeling the pinches together. While the economics of the removal of fuel subsidy will leave to experts to talk about that, but what we need to do in Ekiti State, we'll come back to you on that. Mr. Speaker has said that I should answer the question on protocol courtesies. I know I've enjoyed the protocol courtesies of Mr. Speaker from Abuja, not once, not twice. So I'm sure that the House of Assembly remains high up in our political or whatever class of bureaucracy we're talking about. But if you need us to reform that protocol process, we can do that. I know that we have a sitting protocol for the House of Assembly. We can look at the details of implementation if it's not functioning well. There's also a question on, so the question on excessive POS charges, Honorable Sokwe, we'll come back with us on Mr. Arinka. Let me not go into that. So there's a question on work at home policy. What we did, sir, on issuance of the circular was also to mandate the accounting officers to have a customized schedule. So each accounting officer is monitoring who comes and who does not come. I agree with you that we do continuous education, but for the category of workers that we have left at home, Not, I think almost everybody that can use a phone can work right now. So we don't have a challenge, but we're working on that. I've spoken about the Civil Service Commission. Yes, it's on our pipeline. Again, let me just mention that this report was for GAT, but I must confess that there's some cross-cutting issues. I'm sure when we have to present for government house protocols, there will be some of these activities that will represent to you, and you have the actual cost of implementation. I think I have touched on all the questions I wrote down. Again, we will represent a more detailed document that will be signed and documented at the executive session as stated. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and distinguished members of this House.
Thank you very much, Madam HS. Dear colleagues, I think we should allow the HOS to take up and we'll communicate you when you will appear before the executive session so as to take the details, and then we'll have that engagement at our parliamentary when the time comes. We are going to let you know. But I must congratulate you once again on your well-deserved appointment. I say well-deserved because I know you personally, and I know members of this house knows you, that you are a round peg in a round hole. And we know that under you, there is going to be serious reform in the service, in the civil service of Ekiti State. It's our prayer that God will grant you good health so as to be able to carry out these reforms. We know that you are brimming with ideas and innovations, and we know that your time will know for good in the history of Ekiti civil service. Congratulations once again. Please, you proceed to the mess. We will meet at the executive session. Thank you. Please give her the account of stewardship so that she can also lay it before the house. Where is it? No, it can't be that one. No, you, please, anytime you are coming to the house, forget what you have submitted. She will lay, it's just that when you are in court, I don't know whether you have visited court before, you will have front-loaded your documents, but everything you have front-loaded is still nothing until it is laid, and that becomes the document of the court. Please just lay your, thank you. No, she's okay, she's all right, yes. Thank you. Honorable Oniyi, maybe you don't know she's from Moba and also from Ijero. Thank you.
The next ministry is Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation. Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation. Oh.
we need to show that they are not around. We need to speak to it. It's the item that was supposed to do now, not office of the government. You told me, but I know that we have to call it out. Physically have to give an instruction on it.
Sure.
Telling me it does not stop it. Telling me does not remove it from our order. We have to identify that they are not here. So you have to give an instruction on that. And it's not when Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Mr. Capacity, and my dear colleagues. Once again, I'm Honorable Torilo Kwege. I represent the Southwest Conference 2. Right Honorable Speaker, seems Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation is not around, and we have not gotten their
Have you
documents.
invited the next one? Who is on our, what's it called? You use your order paper now. This is
Yes.
not, please. Who is next on our order paper?
The next on our order paper is Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation.
Yes, so.
But they are not around. That's what I'm trying
So
to
why
inform.
why is he here?
It was a short mix-up by the sergeant at time.
So, Sergeant Tam, please, I think you need to follow our instruction. Please, I'm not asking you to come to me. You follow our instruction, not your instruction. Please, listen to me. I'm not asking you to talk. It's not, you act based on our instruction. Who asked you to bring this person in? Please, we are sorry. Please, can you just please step down? We'll call you. And call the next person, please. Yes, next person.
Right, Mr. Speaker, the next ministry is Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation.
Yes, where is Minister of Employment and Wealth Creation? Sergeant Atam, where is Minister of Wealth Creation? Talk there. You don't need to come to me. Not around?
Right, Honorable Speaker, they are not just only around. We have information too that they did not send their documents as requested.
So no document from Minister of Wealth Creation? Madam Clerk. That is an affront on this house. This house will ask for the suspension of that commissioner. And that should be communicated to Mr. Governor. For the affront on this house, at least the commissioner should go on 1 week suspension. And that is our resolution in this house. No communication, no report sent. The commissioner should go on 1 week suspension, and that is the resolution of the house. If you're in support, say aye. If you're against, say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, next.
Next is Office of the Deputy Governor.
the clerk should ensure that the resolution of the House is communicated to Mr. Governor immediately, that we are recommending the suspension of the Commissioner for Wealth Creation for his affront against this House, and state all the issues: non-submission of his returns, non-appearance before this House, and without any excuse. And I think the PS of the ministry should also be reprimanded. Hold on, please. Thank you. This House will not condone any indiscipline. They should know that this House is representing the people, and that mandate we hold jealously. Our belief in transparency and accountability. No one is bigger than this House. Nobody. Ekiti State House of Assembly of yesterday is not what that is here today, and they should know that. We know, we understand our duty, we understand our job, and we will not allow anyone to desecrate this institution. It was screened right in this House. And the people of Ekiti State also want to listen to him, to speak to this House, what he has done. No returns, in violation of Section 108 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in violation of the standing order of this House, Order 16, Rule 99 of this House. Not just that alone, it's also a violation of Section 128 and 129 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. And that we will not take. And please, clerk, also summon all, if there is any PS, directors, every one of them, all of them must be here by 8 a.m. on Wednesday, the second day of October. They should report here at the office of the clerk, and they must be here by 8 a.m. While the recommendation for the suspension of the commissioner be communicated to Mr. Governor. Yes. Your observation, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am Babatunde Abiodun Faweko. I represent Idosi Constituency 1. Right Honorable Speaker, I know we are about to engage the office of the Deputy Governor, which I feel I just want to ask the Right Honorable if you have a communication from the Deputy Governor for our absence, thereby giving way for the Permanent Secretary to represent her. Thank you.
Well, I would say the Deputy Governor enjoyed the same constitutional mandate with that of the Governor, and by Section 108, the provision is that the Governor may appear, but the appearance of the SSG, there is an exception to the clause. You know, the commissioners is a direct provision of Section 102 of the Constitution that the commissioner shall appear. But for the office of the governor and the deputy governor, and these are his agents, and don't forget that the governor will be coming on the 16th day of October, which at that time is going to do the summary of everything we've been doing here. Mr. Governor is going to present the account of stewardship of the entire state. On that note, I will want us to take the PS Deputy Governor's office while we exempt the Deputy Governor from appearance. Thank you. Yes. You know why? When the governor is coming, they enjoy the same mandate. Two of them are coming. So we have the PS of his office now, of our office, to speak. So when the governor comes, she's the one coming. She's coming alongside Mr. Governor to now give account of stewardship of everyone. Just like we will be having the permanent secretary, governor's office, coming to speak to the office of the governor. Don't forget that we will still have the permanent secretary, governor's office. So also we have the permanent secretary, deputy governor's office. And on the last day, the governor will come. And when the governor comes, that has the deputy governor, because they enjoy, like the Suriko said, they said they share the same umbilical cord. The governor and the deputy governor share the same umbilical cord. So, permanent secretary, can we know you? Can we meet you?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker of this Assembly, distinguished honorable members. My name is Abayomi Michael Okoyemi. I am the Permanent Secretary, Office of the Deputy Governor. With me here this afternoon are officers from that office and the agencies that are supervised by Her Excellency the Deputy Governor. First, I want to introduce the General Manager of the State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Dari Ashaolu. Sitting next to him is the DFA of that agency, Mrs. Ojekagi Oyinye. Next to her is the Acting Executive Secretary, Boundary Commission, Mr. Lekan Olajide. Next to him is the Director, Director Admin and Supply of the Office of the Deputy Governor, Mr. Bartolomeu Ario. The Secretary of the Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board is also with us here, Mr. Sunkomi Adu. The Director of Finance and Accounts of the Human Capital Development Agency, Mr. Adedonyi Damilola, is also with us here. Mr. Esson is the DAS of the Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, and Mrs. Aderidigbe Kikelomo is representing the DFA of the Christian Pilgrims Board. And then the DFA of the Office of the Deputy Governor is Mrs. Adenike Jimon. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. PS, I would just quickly want you to go straight to present the account of stewardship of the Office of the Deputy Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me start by apologizing for the little mix-up when we first came in.
It's not your fault, and it wasn't your fault, and it's never your fault. So don't worry.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The Office of the Deputy Governor is a creation of the 1999 Constitution. And that office has been given the mandate of assisting, supporting His Excellency the Governor in carrying out his duties. So in essence, the duties performed by Her Excellency the Deputy Governor are those things that are released to that office by His Excellency the Governor. In this particular administration, the Deputy Governor supervises some agencies, which are the State Emergency Management Agency, the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Home Affairs, the Boundary Commission, the Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, and the Human Capital Development Agency. I will not be speaking about the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Home Affairs because they have an ESCO member as the commissioner in that particular ministry, but Her Excellency supervises the ministry. The duties of that office are as carried out by the various agencies that are supervised by Her Excellency the Deputy Governor. Essentially, in the last 1 year, the office, that's the Office of the Deputy Governor, we have carried out some assignments. We purchased some office equipment, laptops and desktops. We purchased some television sets, and then we conducted in-house training for members of staff, all members of staff, both the security men, the drivers, and all the officers there. And of course, we have a quarterly publication to outline, to let the public know the activities of the deputy governor. We call that newsletter the Ekiti Heritage. It is published on a quarterly basis. I will now speak on the agencies that are supervised by Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor. And I'm going to take off with the State Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board. The Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board is an agency that has been established to look at the logistic support for pilgrims that are traveling to Israel. And in the last 1 year, government has been making preparation for the 2024 pilgrimage. Government has actually approved fund for that pilgrimage. But then the Christian Pilgrims Commission in Abuja will determine the exact time that pilgrims will embark on the pilgrimage. We are still awaiting the directive of the Christian Pilgrims Commission for the time that the pilgrimage for 2024 will start. Then there's the Office of Human Capital Development and Allied Matters. This is an office that has been established to build the capacity of officers and the stakeholders in the health sector, in the education sector, and some other sectors in the state. And in the last 1 year, they've been able to secure grants from ECOWAS. There is this ECOWAS fund that is used to build the capacity of the officers. The office have been able to secure 4.9 million naira for that purpose in the last 1 year. We are also processing and have also received grants even for the second and third tranches, but it's still being awaited so that the expenditure of that fund is, I think, is ongoing. Then the Ekiti State Boundary Commission. The Boundary Commission is an agency put up by government to look into the boundary conflicts, boundary matters between communities within the state and between the state and other states of the federation. That commission has been up and doing in resolving so many boundary issues in our state. And in the last 1 year, we have held lots and lots of meetings. And under the guidance and directive of Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, we have succeeded in resolving many intertown and intra-town boundary matters. There are some areas where one quarter in a particular town will rise up against another quarter in that particular town. As a matter of fact, there was even a particular community that wrote to Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, that they wanted the king of that community to move his palace, even from where it is currently, because it is on their own ancestral land. So the Deputy Governor has a way of reconciling all these communities. To date, we have held more than 21 meetings with various communities. I want to particularly mention the fact that Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, has also been reaching out to her colleagues outside the state. There was a time we were having some problems with Osun State, particularly along Igbaraodo, Ogotun, Ikeji, Araikeji axis, and it was almost becoming problematic. Her Excellency took the initiative, wrote to the Deputy Governor of Osun State, seeking audience with His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Prince Adewusi. We went to Osun State, to Osogbo, to meet with the Deputy Governor on 9th May 2024. It was an epoch-making visit because it resolved the matter substantially. Since then, Ekiti and Osun State, we've been liaising with one another, ensuring that there are no problems on that axis. I want to say that, but for the intervention of both deputy governors, I would suspect that there could have been skirmishes along that axis. I also want to say that we were having some problems too. We had some problems with Edauniyo and their neighbor Obuayegunle in Kwara State. As a matter of fact, sometimes in May, there was a very serious crisis there that led to the death of one of our youths, one of the youths of Edaoniyo. Excellency, the Deputy Governor, was directed by His Excellency the Governor to contact our colleague in Kwara. Unfortunately, we wrote a letter to the Deputy Governor of Kwara State. There was no response. I contacted the Permanent Secretary, contacted the Director of Protocol, the CPS, but even as we speak, they have not responded. However, we went to, on the invitation of the National Boundary Commission in Abuja, we went to Abuja, we met with Kwara State, and we've been able to address these issues. Tomorrow, 1st of October, even though it's a public holiday, we'll be going, the technical committee of the Boundary Commission will be going to Edaoniyo to go and see physically the disputed areas between Ekiti and Kwara, along the axis, the areas connecting Erimokwe and Edaoniyo in Ekiti State, and then the villages in Kwara State. Will be going tomorrow. And then during the month too, we'll be going to Kwara. We'll be meeting with the technical committee of Kwara State. We'll be going with some members of the communities in Ekiti State to meet with the monarchs and the community leaders of Obuayegunle and the adjoining villages in Kwara State, in Ilorin, Kwara State, to attempt to resolve the boundary dispute between Ekiti and Kwara States. I also want to say that there are so many other intra-town disputes that Her Excellency have been able to resolve. I also want to say, the Right Honourable Speaker, that last week we received a letter from the National Boundary Commission informing us that the federal government set up an interministerial committee consisting of 9 different MDAs, federal MDAs. That committee was set up to validate the wards in the nation. They discovered that there are some discrepancies between the wards as delineated by the National Population Commission, the one delineated by INEC, and the one delineated by, there's one health agency that is delineating wards for polio eradication. So there are lots and lots of discrepancies. So the federal government now decided to visit the states to validate the wards. So as the pilot, to carry out the pilot study, the federal committee chose 2 states, Bauchi State to represent the north, and Ekiti State to represent the south. When I received the letter, the letter and then the call from the director of the project, I called him to ask him, why Ekiti? Why did you choose Ekiti to represent the southern states? Of all the 17 southern states, why is it that it's Ekiti that you have chosen? And he told me that Ekiti was chosen because of the peace, the relative peace that exists in our state, and because of the activities of government, particularly the visit of government to some other neighboring states. So I think that is one of the things that this administration has been able to achieve. I also want to state that there are some of these states, or some of these communities too, that have been up and doing. We were able to reconcile Ekpe and also communities. As a matter of fact, the 2 communities, they met themselves, and under the guidance of the commission, they were able to resolve. And they now all told us, they invited the State Boundary Commission, to come and help them to do the permanent demarcation of their community. As we speak, our officers they are at Ekpe, Osan, and Iro community, doing the permanent demarcation of those communities. These are some of the things that we have been able to achieve under the boundary.
Is it Euro or Euro? Which one is correct?
Come again.
Is it Euro or Euro?
Ekpe.
Ekpe.
Ekpe, I'm sorry. Ekpe, Osan, and Euro. Euro.
Not Euro.
No, not Euro. Euro.
Okay.
Euro in Mumbai local government.
I want to be sure.
Sorry, in no, it's in the Mumbai local government. It's in Mumbai local government.
Okay.
Euro.
All right.
Thank you. So These are some of the things that we've been able to achieve using the platform of the State Boundary Commission. Let me also say that Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, also visited the Director General of the National Boundary Commission. And the Director General was so elated, and he also promised to visit the state. And in the newspaper, it was carried that other states to emulate Ekiti, that the other states should follow the example laid by Ekiti State. I spoke about the Minister of Chieftaincy Affairs, which has a commissioner as the chief executive, so we will not be speaking concerning that since they will still be here. Then, Ekiti State Emergency Management Agency. SEMA is an agency established by the state government to respond to disaster situations in the state. They are expected to try to prevent, enlighten the populace on how to prevent emergencies. And then when there are emergencies, they are supposed to respond very quickly to these emergencies and find solutions to the problems of the people that were affected by these emergencies. In the present dispensation, the state government graciously had released some funds to the agency for distribution to victims of fire, to victims of rainstorm in the state. A sum of 35 million naira had earlier been released and distributed to fire disaster victims. The governor also approved 58.1 million naira, which was used to carry the relief materials that are released to Ekiti State by NEMA, that's the National Emergency Management Agencies. Also, a sum of 115.1 million naira was released as a balance payment for the surveillance, the Safe City project, which had been established by government. Then the team, the emergency agency, had also visited Lagos State, to understudy Lagos State, LASEMA, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency. And of course, that visit was a result of the initial visit of His Excellency the Governor to LASEMA headquarters in March. The governor visited that place in March, and thereafter, the officials of LASEMA, they were here with another team, a consultant, Logic City, to carry out a scoping study of the safety, security, and emergency services in Ekiti State. The consultant, they had submitted their report. It is awaiting the consideration and approval of His Excellency, the Governor. We have equally secured approval of 12.1 million naira for victims of rainstorm disasters, which occurred in May 2024. Then 47.2 million naira for the purchase of relief materials to victims of rainstorm disasters. This is still awaiting release by the Office of the Accountant General. And then 12.3 million naira, as cash gift to victims of fire disaster that occurred across the state between March and April 2024. I think this has been released by, okay, it has not been released. Okay, 12.3 is still awaiting release by the state government. These are the activities of the Office of the Deputy Governor. Right, Honorable Speaker.
I thank you very much, but I must commend you for that well-detailed accounts of stewardship, well-detailed. And I understand why it is well-detailed. I understand. It's always good when you have well, don't let me come. I have said no commendation yet, so please don't let me. But I am impressed, and that's what I would say. I'm impressed, particularly with your presentation. That does not remove the fact that people can see other things, but the presentation, I'm impressed by it. So yes, Honorable Adegbite.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Ayodeji Adegbite, representing Ado Constituency 1. The question I have for the Permanent Secretary is on the issue of the Federal Government Interministerial Committee on world harmonization. I would like to know how you are preparing for this visit, because a lot of us have issues with the world harmonization. We would like to be more involved, so we need to know your preparation and what exactly it is you are planning to do. Thank you.
Can understand that, Honorable Tokwelunge.
Let me join you to. Right, Honorable Speaker. My name is Lunge Temitope Ademola, and I represent the people of Oyo 21. Let me join you to welcome the Permanent Secretary once again. Thank you for the very well detailed account of stewardship you have made. Most definitely, you are one of our brightest and best. Mr. Secretary, it's not debatable that you are a very high-ranking PS in this state. But the same observation that I've noticed there is that I want to say for a fact that I'm sure you probably did not go through this document, because I know you to be a very detailed person. If you have gone through this document, one, you will have noticed that it's not paginated, that's number one. So we can't even refer to pages properly, okay? It's not paginated. So as a seasoned technocrat that you are, I think you should have gone through this document. I know that it is not paginated before coming here. Number two is that I want you to know Ekiti State Emergency Management Agency. That is, since there's no page there, 1, 3, 4. That's the fifth sheet. The fifth sheet. Ekiti State Emergency Management Agency. Are you there? Now, item number 7. Now, the last line on that item says status awaiting release of the money. Is that correct? After that particular line, I want you to read the next word loudly. Status awaiting release of the money. After that, what is next? Read what is next. Yes, just read it. This is. I'll leave that one. Okay, read status. Status. Yes. Okay.
Status.
Yes.
Awaiting release of the money.
Okay.
And approval of 12,300,000 naira by Mr. Governor as cash gift to the.
Are we on the same?
Come again.
Are we on the same document? 7, Roman figure 7.
Okay. Okay, 7. Awaiting release of the money.
Yes. What is next? Read it loud.
Okay.
You have seen it.
I've seen it.
Read it loud. Read it.
I've seen it.
Pronounce it, sir. Pronounce it.
Honorable.
Pronounce it.
Honorable. My dear, Honorable, I'm
not asking.
It's
okay, now.
It's an avoidable error. It's
okay, now let me say this. These are public documents that is going out. You can find itself anywhere in this country. They call Ekiti State. Ekiti State is naturally the state that is called the fountain of knowledge. And we are not only called that by in name only, but in deed and in truth. We are the fountain of knowledge in this country. So it pains me when I see this kind of document. These documents are public documents. It will go to anywhere. So when people see this kind of documents, you are a seasoned a civil servant. You've been here for some time.
Let's leave it at that. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Dele Oguchaki.
Honorable Speaker, I am Oladele Ogunshaki. I represent the good people of Ekiti Constituency 1. Thank you, the PS, for the detailed information about the kind of stewardship of the Deputy Governor. I just want to ask a few questions concerning SEMA. In April 2004, there was a rainstorm in my constituency that affected Omo Polytechnic, Ijero quarters, Edugbe quarters. The residents sent a letter as required, and there are picture evidence, and even I also sent a delegation to the office of the deputy governor in a request for this. And to my surprise, because SEMA represents a response to a quick disaster situation, how effective have you been doing this for people to be affected with rainstorms since April? And up to now, nothing has been done. I know of recent, the Omojelu people were visited and given some food items, but up to now, there's no visit. There's why several attempts for even your ministry to visit that particular local government, and up to now, there's nothing done. Can you please explain why this delay, so that people of Ekiti State can strongly rely on this government, especially where you are heading in areas of disaster? Thank you.
Idowu Odebumi. I'm going to take you, the two of you, I'm going to take you.
The capacity right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished Honorable colleagues, I remain my humble self, Comrade Idowu Odebumi, representing the group people of Oye Constituency 2. The Permanent Secretary, sir, when we talk under, let me say, the page, because it's not page, let me talk about the page where Honorable Topelonge talked to you about a few minutes ago. When you talk about national, as in anything, emergency management, I believe the disasters that happened to those victims, some of them deal with issue of urgent needs. That's even beyond that ought to be in terms of priority. Because let's talk about the rainstorm, where some people were homeless, nowhere to sleep, and many other things that befell them. The PSR, I can see awaiting release. What are you doing? What are the efforts putting in place to make sure that any little assistance you want to render to those people, they get it on time so that they can put their home in place for them to be a little bit either comfortable or to be managing it? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Femi Akindele.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Femi Olanrewaju Akindele. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to refer the PS, particularly the Boundary Commission head, to page 2, 3, and 4. I want to know if this is the entire list of boundary disputes you have before you, and if so, because I'm aware of one, at least one, that is not listed here. I'm aware of the one between Oloro family in Igedekiti and Ilawe, and it's not listed in this document. And it's going to be a disservice for me to sit here and allow this document fly without the inclusion of that. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Femi Akindele. On that note, I will just allow the PS to quickly respond to those issues. Well, while responding to the issue, Mr. Permanent Secretary, the issue of boundary commission or harmonization exercise, which is very, very key, critical, I would like you to address that. Don't forget that members of this House represent constituencies, and in each of these constituencies are wards. And having been elected, undergone elections from those wards, you will know that we understand the issues, and I believe that your office must also have a synergy with the House of Assembly. So I would also like to know, what are your plans? What are your strategy in ensuring that this House is part of that arrangement? Please go ahead, please, with all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and members, honorable members of this distinguished assembly. On the visitation by that national committee, immediately we received that letter. We processed it to the High Excellency, the Deputy Governor, who I believe must have taken the file to the governor. I met with her before I left the office this morning, and she told me that she informed His Excellency about that particular matter yesterday, I think when they met at the Government House chapel, and the governor said she should come at 2 p.m. So I believe she must have taken the file to His Excellency, the governor, for consideration. Be that as it may, we are aware of the fact that this is an issue that concerns delineation of wards, and it is something that is highly, highly political. And because of this, we wrote letters to all members of the State House of Assembly from the 5 local governments in Ekiti Central Senatorial District. I want to believe that it's because of that letter that Honorable Adegbite actually raised that particular question, because I told the Executive Secretary of the Banking Commission to ensure the delivery of those letters. Not only that, we also wrote letters to our representatives in the National Assembly, our senator and the House of Reps members representing the Central Senatorial District. Because when I was having a discussion with the director of the project, he specifically told me that we should allow the legislators to be aware, because this is something that is political and eventually it will be taken to the National Assembly. We wouldn't want a situation where it will be mentioned and members of the State Assembly will now say they are not aware. Or members of the National Assembly will now say they are not aware. And that is why we have written letters to them, telling them of the visit of these people. They will be arriving on 6th. I still have the intention of, we've been discussing. So I believe before 6th of October, we'll have finalized on what is going to be their timetable. We are going to guide them, on where to visit on the first day, where to visit on the second day, those places to visit and so on. We will guide them. But we expect members of the House Assembly to be fully involved in the issue of ward delineation. That's what I can say concerning the validation. Thank you. Yes, I want to apologize very profusely for the errors observed by Honorable Lunge on the way our document was not paged, and for that error in in the word that was put there. I take responsibility for it as the accounting officer, and I apologize on behalf of the office. Honorable, my apologies. Okay, sorry, right honorable. So then, Honorable Ogushakin raised the issue of Omuo, the areas that were affected by rainstorm, and then nothing had been done about it. Let me say that maybe I will still invite the GM if he can speak on this, but I'm confident of the fact, I'm sure that there are so many of these issues that are still awaiting the consideration and approval of the governor. The duty of the office is to compile and then give figures and then push forward for the consideration of government. It is when it has been approved that we will now, make it known, that we can make it known to this honorable house. And then on the issue of not receiving or not receiving the approved fund on time, well, it is subject to prioritization.
Please, you can hold your mic, please.
So we visit the office of the Accountant General. We make contact with the Minister of Finance on how to ensure early release of funds that have been approved by His Excellency the Governor. But I believe they are doing their own prioritization, but we'll continue to go there. In fact, last week I was still in the Akata General's office to convince, to speak to her about some of the issues that are still awaiting release of funds by government. I want to assure this Honorable House that as soon as money is released, it will be given, the affected victims will be invited and it will be given to them promptly. Sometimes, too, by the time we write, we have to go to the Minister of Finance to get approval for the clearance for expenditure, because some of these things we don't have budgetary allocation. And so sometimes we have to source for funds from the vote of the Minister of Minister of Budget and Planning. We have to write to them because we don't have the required approval, the budgetary allocation. So we have to contact the Ministry of Budget to allow us to use special votes in that ministry. Then we have to contact the Ministry of Finance to issue expenditure clearance. Before then, the Bureau of Public Procurement, before it gets to the Minister of Finance and then the Akata General's office. So these are some of the issues that we have been having. Then the Igede Ilawe boundary. I am aware of this particular.
You have just 2 minutes to answer all the questions now.
Thank you, Right Honorable. The Igede Ilawe boundary dispute. We are on that particular matter, and I think 2 days ago, last week, I still spoke with somebody from maybe Ilawe on the matter. Normally, when there is a dispute between two towns, for us to carry out some of these assignments, particularly when the technical committee will have to visit the site and then do some things, we expect the communities to fund the visit of the technical committee. For this particular one, I think Igede had paid. Secretary, Igede had paid, but Ilawe had paid, but Ilawe has not paid. Igede has not paid. That is what is delaying that particular one. And I remember that when I was called last week, I still told the person from Ilawe that
volunteer not fit injury. Abi, you don't complain for an injury you subscribe to. You consented to it and you cannot complain of it. That is Honorable Femi Akindele. When you have not paid, so how do you now complain? Please go ahead, sir.
So that is what is delaying the actual demarcation or the permanent resolution of that dispute between Ilawe and Igede. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I think it's been a wonderful experience with all these people that have appeared before us today. I must also emphasize once again that this House will always frown on anyone who try to denigrate this House. Any source of affront against this House, we will resist. And our constitutional responsibility, we understand it, and we will work within that mandate that we have been given. It is an act of irresponsibility for any political head or any head at all who has been asked to render his account of stewardship before the people of Ekiti State without any excuse not to appear. At least anyone who will be excused must also give us the reason why he's not appearing. And again, no documents, that is an affront. And this House will not take it lightly, and what we have taken is what we have taken. And if I can, before I will allow the commission, one day you'll become a commissioner too, don't worry. Before I allow the permanent secretary to leave, I will be the last, I guess this is the last for today. Yes, I will ask you, what will you say about this exercise?
Right, Honorable Speaker. Let me say with all sincerity, and every sense of responsibility that even though I worked in the House of Assembly as a staff for over 4 years, I am not sure I've witnessed this kind of grilling by members of the House of Assembly. While I was seated up there watching the House, I don't want to use grill again, discussing or interrogating honorable commissioners. I have an engagement. Thank you, sir. That one is more positive. I was saying, while I am here for a very serious business. So I want to commend this House for the very wonderful work that you are doing. This engagement is something that is very important, and it is something that will put everybody on her toes. And I think it's something that is commendable. I want to commend the caliber and the capacity of members of this House. It is something that is commendable. And I think that you deserve an award. Thank you for the good work that you are doing. God bless you, sir.
On that note, dear colleagues, we will ask the peers to take a bow while we will look at other issues at the executive session. Please take a bow and we will meet at the executive session. Like we said earlier, this exercise is in 4 phases. Phase 1 is just what we have done. We meet at the executive session to also ascertain all your claims by correspondence documents, to see those documents that right from initiation of memo and every other thing, we look at them at the executive session. And that one will be done at the parliamentary hall. Then again, we will have a visit, if you have physical projects, to also ascertain those claims, to look at them, to ensure that they are not audio projects. Anybody can come here and bamboozle us with all manners of rhetorics, tells us, give wonderful speech, but we also want to see. And that is why we are saying we are conducting a visit to locus in Kuho to see with our Kurokuro eyes everything you have claimed and everything we will also look at it. The last stage is our report, which is just solely ours to write. We are going to do a report on all ministries, departments, and agencies, institutions, including the local government and SCDs that we have taken already. We are going to write our report on all, and we will be very objective. I can tell you we will be very objective. We will come up with our recommendations. It's not just to write a report. We also have our recommendations to the executive, because we believe that we have to be accountable to the people. We must ensure that we drive down development, and the era of people just collecting salary doing nothing, I want to say, is gone in our state, and that we will not allow under our own watch. We won't allow it. If it is just one day that is left that we are going to spend, we will ensure that that one day we use it for the people of Ekiti State so that they can also enjoy dividends of democracy. I thank you also for your presentation, for doing a great job and a good day. I also thank your team because I believe that this is a teamwork. But please, it is going to be a different session at the plenary session, because that time you are not coming to present, you are coming to interact. And you can understand that kind of interaction with these eggheads that you see around here. And I can tell you, because people might not know, I need to also mention that this house, by the special grace of God, parades eggheads, parades accountants among us. Of course, in this house, we have a shadow accountant of over 20 years, who is also a fellow. We have lawyers among us. We have engineers among us. We have political historians among us. We have surveyor, architect, some electrician. Not, when I say electrician, not in electrical, who actually study electrical electronics. We have geologists. We have finance officers around us here by the special grace of God. And by the grace of God, myself standing before you, I was an auditor, I'm a lawyer. So you can know that this house, you have people who knows their onions and who understand what they are doing by the special grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Please lay it, then take a bow and go. Leader of the House, what
Right,
next?
Honorable Speaker, Mr. Capacity.
My dear colleagues,
on the order of the day, the second item is adjournment. Right, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, having exhausted the order of the day, I would like to move a motion that this House adjourns until 2nd of October, Wednesday, 2024, to continue the account of stewardship of heads of ministries, departments, and agencies in Ekiti State.